Kleine Fluchten, the meditating podcast that combines meditation and storytelling. Little stories in the code of meditation for little escapes from everyday life. Not spiritual, not esoteric, just inspiring. Usually in German and from time to time in English. Let's escape together for a few minutes and find your very own images to the following meditating. Welcome to a new Kleine Flucht in English. A kleine Flucht through a conflict. This little escape into a usually heavy topic. You can listen to it with open or closed eyes, at home or on the road. But please be aware for just a moment of the place you have chosen to deal with today's topic. It may have a reason, or it can have an impact. Now deepen your breath and breathe deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. If the place, your position and yourself allow it, then slowly close your eyes now. How do you feel right now? What's the first word that comes to your mind? Take it with you through today's meditation. It might be for a reason. If you have listened to this podcast before, you may have noticed that it's quite personal after all, and perhaps different from other meditation podcasts. You may sense from the stories I tell that I've experienced them myself or walked through them in my reality or imagination. You will hear my emotions and fluctuations in my voice. When I want to touch you in a particularly positive way, I may sound overly cheerful. And other times when I'm deep in my images myself, you may also feel a certain heaviness coming through. All that is me. And that's why today I'm venturing into the topic of conflict, which at first doesn't sound like an easy one, I know. The inspiration for this came from a former colleague who wrote to me lately, "Sarah, if I may, I'd like to wish for a little escape from conflict conversations. Those toxic conversations full of patterns that are so unpleasant." She reminded me that I've wanted to do a meditation on conflict before, but then shied away from the depth. After all, what I really want to do here is spread lightness. And that's exactly the point. Of course, conflicts are uncomfortable. Very much though. We shy away from them. So do I. When we are in the middle of it, we would love to flee. And when it's just behind us, we would like to forget it immediately. But sometimes we don't succeed, and the conflict conversation just won't let us go. It lingers in us like a restless animal. Therefore, today we want to approach this restless animal together. We will do this through questions that I will ask you, and you will answer in your thoughts. Let yourself surprise you by the thoughts that come to your mind. We will dive deep, but we will also resurface together. So don't worry. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And there we will see if you could maybe catch a few thoughts that take you a step further in the conflict and maybe even clarify something. Let's give it a try. Let's get started. I will ask you questions and you answer in your thoughts. Here we go. Who is involved in the conflict? Who is involved behind the scene? How long has the conflict been going on? What is the issue? And what do you think is the real issue? What is the issue behind the issue? What do you need this conflict for? What is the outcome if you win? And what is the outcome if the other side wins? Who has an interest in the conflict continuing? And what needs to happen for the conflict to really escalate? What needs to happen for the conflict to escalate more? What do you both have to do to really drive the whole situation against the wall, jointly into the abyss? And what will be different when the conflict is resolved? How will others notice that the conflict has been resolved? How will others notice that the conflict has been resolved by the way you look and behave? What can you do differently tomorrow to achieve this state? What else? Now deepen your breath again. Feel how your abdominal wall rises and falls. Stretch your body as it is good for you. Yawn loudly once or twice. Pull your shoulders up. Push them back. Shoulder blades together. And then let your shoulders drop down. Put your hands on your heart. Do you feel it? It is pumping so that you can live and love and fight with ups and downs. Listen to your heart. It tells you that in every conflict there is something to learn. Sometimes something that does not belong to you, but to the other person or to your environment. Leave those parts with the others. Leave those parts where they belong to, not with you. and accept the part that wants to tell you something. And now give this part a smile. Maybe condescending, maybe cynical, distance, or also conciliatory, motherly or fatherly, appreciative, relieved. Tell the conflict, I have looked at you today. That's enough for now. Bye for today. And now slowly open your eyes. Briefly consider which thought from this today's meditation you definitely want to keep. And then let the conflict be conflict and live your life at full. You listen to Kleine Fluchten, the meditating podcast that combines meditation and storytelling. Little stories in the code of meditation for little escapes from everyday life. Not spiritual, not esoteric, just inspiring. If you enjoyed this meditating, then subscribe to this podcast. You will always be informed when I publish a new episode. So subscribe now and look forward to the next Kleine Flucht. But most importantly, is there anything you would like to remember and take away from this meditating? Then keep it in your mind and in your heart. Hear you soon. Yours, Sarah.